Do you want to entertain customers and say thank you? How about network with potential customers? Or how about just say thank you? We appreciate your business. Or maybe you just want to say thank you to your donors. Well, you've come to the right place. Hello, everyone. My name is Philly Mordino, and welcome to another GTAA webinar. So glad you could join us. Hey, for over 35 years, we've had the opportunity to work with thousands of tournament planners around the world. And we have one simple mission, and that is to help you produce the best golf tournament possible. There's over 500,000 golf outings in the United States every year, and about 80% of those are fundraisers, charities trying to raise money, and that's their priority. There's another 10% that are simply there to do a serious competition. Those are the ones who want to determine who the best golfer is. And then another 10% that are corporate outings. These are events that want to entertain, which is the topic today, which we're going to talk about today. And we're so glad you could join us because we've never done this topic before. So we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on how do you host a corporate outing. We're going to talk about some things that you need to know to produce the best corporate outing possible. We're going to cover what is a corporate outing, what's the difference between a corporate and a charity event, what are the key steps in making it happen, what should be your purpose and your goals? What are the expenses involved? What should be the right format that you would use to produce an event like this? How do you find that perfect golf course? And then where do you obtain gifts and prizes? How do you get those? And then if you stick with me, I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to show you how to produce a corporate golf outing without any money coming out of your pocket. So let's get into it. What is a corporate golf outing? Well, first of all, it's a high-end first-class event to entertain or say thank you to your customers and or potential customers and maybe your donors. It's a unique and memorable event, one that they're going to say, wow, they're going to remember you. Now, it could be 18 holes, it could be 9 holes, it could be a skills challenge, but it does include great food, great prizes. Now, it can be a fundraiser, but that's not the priority. The priority is to entertain. Now, that's not to say that a fundraising event can't be first class and high end, but that's not the priority. So, the big difference here is what's your objective? What's your purpose? Corporate events are to entertain, and charity events are to raise money. So, what should your purpose be? What should your goal be in producing this type of an event? Well, it depends on you and your company or your organization. I think some of the reasons people produce corporate outings is to entertain customers. They just want to say thank you, we appreciate your business, and then we hope you do business with us long term. Some may be networking with new potential customers, introducing your company and your services and saying, hey, we'd love to work with you. Maybe you're just saying thank you to your employees and just say, appreciate your hard work, and here's the thank you for working so hard and sticking with us. And maybe you're a nonprofit that just wants to entertain donors and say thank you for your support and maybe your future support. So it could be possibly a promotion for your company. Maybe you're just introducing new services, new products. That's a possibility. Maybe you're introducing your company to new people, which is always a possibility. It's a great networking tool. It's a great way just to hang out with people and build relationships and rub shoulders and really get to know them on a personal level. Um, Especially if you're a charity, you definitely want to get to know who your donors are, and you may not get a chance to do that very often. But the goal here is to leave an impression, a memorable event that so they're thinking about you, they're remembering you. They can't wait to come back and do this again. They can't wait to do business with you in the future because they appreciate you and you putting on this event. So who do you need? Who's on your team? Who should you do this with, and why do you need people to do this? With you? Well, first of all, you could probably pull this off by yourself, depending on the size of the event. The golf course gets very involved and can help you with a lot of those details. But ideally, I love to see other people involved for several reasons. Number one, Um, it makes the people that you get involved just feel part of something bigger than themselves. And people love to get involved. They love to take ownership in a company or an event and feel important. They love to bring their relationships and their people that they're involved with and say that I'm involved in producing this event. It helps you split up the responsibilities because if you try to do all this by yourself, you can be overwhelmed. And with new people, with other people involved, you have new ideas. You're not just stuck with you and doing the same old thing that you've done in the past. So, who is it that you actually need? Who do you need on your team? Well, first of all, I love to see people with ideas, creative people, people that can share and think outside the box and give you some new thoughts on how to produce this event. I think it's great to think about putting together an advisory board that maybe just gives you ideas. I like to use big names, people that are notable, credible, gives you credibility. You know, if you say that the president of the company is on the advisory board, then they know it's important. They know it's a big deal. So get some well-known people, maybe just to be on your advisory board. You also need people who have relationships with potential sponsors. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of bringing in additional sponsors to your event, but people who know potential sponsors, people who know golfers. Obviously, if you don't can't fill your field and you need that, you need connections, people with relationships with potential golfers. You need someone overseeing the operations of the event, the details, just kind of the nitty gritty, how it flows and the setup and where does signage go and is everything on time and people love to see an organized event. Someone who helps register the golfers in the beginning. Ideally, have all the golfers registered in advance, but you need someone on site, maybe 2 to 4 people, helping direct people, getting them checked in, giving them out their goodie bags. You need people to help you get gifts and prizes because that's going to be a very important part of this event, which we're going to share with you. And then maybe that someone who knows promotion and media. It'd be great to have someone that does social media and can get out those blast emails and send out the invitations and so forth. So those are the type of people that you need. I get a really popular question: should we hire an event planner? Should we hire someone outside to do this for us or with us? And obviously that's the business that we're in, so we encourage that because we believe that the people that we've trained around the country are qualified, and they're very sharp and they know how to save you time. They know how to save you money. In fact, they know how to make money. They may have the relationships with the facilities. They should have all the prices down. So an event planner outside can be good, but at the same time, you need inside people doing some of the work, the golfers and the sponsors also. Very, very important. But an event planner can be a worthwhile choice because they will save you time and make you money. All right, how do you pick the right location? Where do you have a corporate outing? Well, obviously it's going to depend on your situation and where you're at, and it could be that you're part of a convention and you want to do it as a sales meeting or at the resort that your convention's being held. If your company's based in a certain area, obviously logistically that makes it a lot easier. But it really boils down to where are your customers. If you want to invite customers, where are the bulk of them? If they're out of town, you may have to fly some in, or they may have to fly in. That adds a whole level of expenses. Also, where are your golfers coming from? Are they local? Are they coming in from out of town? Very important. Your sponsors will have a lot to say with where it should be because they're investing in this process. So you want to listen to your sponsors. But a hotel is always good, just in case you do have people coming in from out of town. It's great to have that connecting hotel, if not on property, close to it, because if it's not on the golf course, then you got to think about transportation and shuttling people in if they're coming in from out of town. But convenience is key. You know, you don't want people driving an hour to your event or 2 hours. Ideally, it's a smooth transition, it's close, and somewhere they can all get to very easily. So, how do you pick the golf course? That's a big question because there's so many out there. You know, there's over 17,000 golf courses in the U.S. And none of them are right or wrong, I think, but there's some better choices. So let me just kind of give you an overall view. First of all, golf courses are very important because that's the question everyone always asks is where is it being played? When you announce your corporate outing, they want to know, where is it? And I'm going to share with you quickly what are the different types of golf courses that you have available to you. First of all, Obviously, there's the resort course. That's the one that has a hotel connected to it. And if it's part of a convention, then that's an easy decision. Resort courses are typically pretty high end and first class, so it's a good impression and it makes it convenient, especially if you have people coming in from out of town. It's also fun to keep locals hanging out at the hotel because they've got restaurants and so forth. You may want to look at a private country club. Now, private country club is one that's owned by the members. This is a little bit tougher. These are very typically high end. The members make the decision. Harder to get on these type of golf courses, but usually a special treat for your golfers. And it has to be hosted by a member. Typically, I talked to a golf course last week and they wanted one member per player, which is very, very tough. But if a member hosts, usually the private country club will allow something on a Monday. Then you have your private country clubs that are not owned by the members, they're owned by a corporation. There's a lot of national management companies that own private country clubs. They have members. The course is private, still a special treat, and typically they'll allow an outside outing on a Monday, but it's not open to the public, so it makes it very, very special and very unique opportunity to play. Then you have the semi-private golf courses. Now, these golf courses are open to the public. They do have membership. And there are special privileges, but they are open to the public and maybe not as special. Then you have municipal golf courses, which is typically owned by the city, the state, or the county. These are typically your more affordable golf courses and they're not as fancy, but a great option if you are on a budget and you want to do just something fun. You may want to look at one of those type city-owned golf courses. And then you have an executive golf course. This is a typically a shorter golf course. The average golf course is 7,200 yards. The executive golf course is going to be around 5,600 yards, and it's typically a par three. I love this type of course because it's great for, maybe people who don't play very often. It's great for seniors. It's great for juniors, kids, women, people who aren't real serious golfers. Love an executive course. Plus, it's great for maybe a night golf tournament, which we're going to talk a little bit about. But the important thing is knowing what your golfers want. What do golfers want? And it's important that you understand what your golfers want. First of all, they want something special, something unique, something different that they don't normally get to play on. That's going to get them excited to come play. Maybe it's a rank. Maybe it's a golf course that's ranked top in your state or in your city. Private is always popular because they don't get a chance to play those private golf courses. Maybe a PGA Tour event was hosted there. People love those type of events because those are usually in great shape and high end. But most importantly, golfers want a golf course with good conditions. That's our biggest complaint as golfers is the golf course is not in good shape. So we want great conditions, we want great food, they want great prizes, and they also want an organized event, something that runs smoothly, that they're not wondering what's going on. But you're now asking, okay, so Phil, we want a really high-end golf course. The big question is, how do we get the best deal? How do we get the best price? Now, there's a lot of options here. So keep in mind just a few things when you're out looking for a great golf course at the best price possible. First of all, I want you to consider a shoulder season. Every market has a shoulder season. It may be not perfect weather conditions. It might be a little warmer, a little colder, but the shoulder seasons usually the rates are going to be dropping and they're going to be a little bit better. You also want to look at events like Monday through Thursday. Obviously, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the most popular day to play golf. So during the week, maybe in the afternoon, shotgun starts, you might be able to get a better price doing it that way. You also have the option, believe it or not, to buy out the golf course. A lot of golf courses love to do this, and you could buy out the golf course for the whole day, or you can just buy it for a half day. This price typically is a little bit better if you fill up your field. That's very important. If you're only going to have 60, 70 golfers, it may not be the best price. But if you're going to have 100 to 100, 120 to 140 golfers, then a buyout usually is a better price than if you were to buy individual. Also, you may want to look at a package deal instead of just golf by itself. Look what they could throw in the food, maybe some merchandise, and look at a package deal, and you might get a better price that way. Also, multi year agreements. Golf courses love multi year agreements. So if you sign a 3 to a 5 year agreement, you're going to get a better price. You also may want to offer to the golf course a promotion to them. See, golf courses are always looking for more business. So let's say you have a member base or a donor base or high-end individuals in your database. If they know that you can promote them and promote their golf course and maybe their memberships or their clubs or their tennis courts or health club, whatever they have, restaurants, if you can promote them, then they're going to give you a better deal because they want more business. So look at that kind of arrangement where you're promoting them. I give you an example. You know, I worked with this association that had a bunch of doctors, and this one golf course really, really wanted some new members. It was that time where they needed new members, and the group was able to say, "Hey, we have an association of doctors. We'll promote you to them. We'll promote membership. We'll promote daily fee or restaurants." And they were able to cut a really pretty good deal and get some freebies included. So look for the best deal. Don't think that you have to pay retail or the highest price because there are deals to be had, but you've got to consider some of these ideas. So, timeline, how long should it take for you to put together a corporate outing? Well, I like 6 months. 6 months is a good plan because you're not rushing it. You know, you've got other things. You probably typically have another job or a real job that keeps you busy. So 6 months time. And why do we want 6 months? The reason being is if you get the golf course and the sponsors in advance, you're going to have a leg up because the golf course, the later you wait, the better dates are going to be taken. Sponsors are budgeting their budgets, their sponsorship, their advertising, their marketing, their donations way in advance, not just a month or two in advance. So you want to get to those sponsors a good 6 months in advance. You want to get the best deal at the golf course. So the further in advance you can do that, the better. Uh, you also want to start defining your goals and your objectives early on so everyone knows what you're doing, where you're heading, what the purpose is of this, so that everyone gets on board. You want to put together your team and your committee well in advance so you start getting some new ideas and get people working on that. You want to have the time, the date, and the location determined a good 4 to 6 months out for sure that you can start promoting. You want to put together a business plan, kind of a to-do list, a budget, responsibilities. So that's handed out to all of your committee members. So everyone is on the same page and knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing. You want to start putting together a potential list of golfers and who you'd invite to come to this. You want to start working on gifts and prizes early on and get them at wholesale, which we can show you how to do that. Food and beverage not as important. That can usually be done 30 to 45 days out, but you have to give a good number, how many, at least 2 weeks out. And then you want to get these golfers signed up in advance so they get this on their calendar. But very important through this whole process, you want to follow up with the golf course, make sure that they're on track, follow up with your committee, make sure that they know what they're doing, and keep those sponsors and those golfers abreast of what you're doing. So, what does it look like? What does a budget look like for something like a corporate outing? Now, you've got lots of options here, and we're going to talk about how to get it paid for. But first of all, if you're going to do a decent golf course, a nice golf course, you're going to be paying between $100 and $250 per person, unless you do a buyout. But that's pretty much going to be the going rate for a decent golf course, depending on what market you're going to be in. Food and beverage is going to be, depends on how fancy you want to get, is going to be anywhere from $50 a person to $150 a person if you want to include breakfast, lunch, or lunch and dinner, depending on what you want to do there. I really recommend some high-end gifts and prizes, which we're going to talk a little bit more about, but that's going to be a budget of $50 to $100. I think photos and videos are very important of this day because it helps you put together some promotional pieces and some marketing pieces, and you're going to pay anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500 for a professional photographer and or videographer that day. If you do hire an event planner, it depends on who they are, but anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 to coordinate the whole thing. But remember, they should pay for themselves. Event planners should save you enough time, save you money, and help you make money to cover their fees. So if you decide to do that, but you also have some income that you can be offsetting all these expenses for. So think about this. Okay, now, number one, the income can be just your company or just your organization. You cover the whole bill. You pay for the food, you pay for the golf, you pay for everything. Because remember something, this is an investment in you, in your company, in your nonprofit. If you cover the expenses, you're going to build relationships. Your customers are going to do business with you long term. Your donors are going to give to you long term. And it's just a good return on investment if you spend the right amount of money and keep that business coming long term. Look at it as a long term picture, not a day of the event. Yeah, it might be a little bit expensive, but it's worth the investment. Another way to get some income is additional sponsors. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but sponsors are really great to have because you can have additional revenue, and sponsors can do whole lot for your event for several reasons. This could be maybe some of your vendors and suppliers. Golfers, you could charge golfers to play in this. It's being done. I think they feel like it's more value if you charge them something, especially if you're going to tie a charity into this. If you're going to say, the money goes to a charity, then you don't mind, the golfers don't mind paying to get into the event, but that's a possibility. You've also got revenue from games and contests, beat the pro, close to the pin, putting contest, long drive contest. There's ways to make money with all of those. You could do a raffle just for fun, and you could do an auction for fun. I love auctions, but I don't like limiting auctions to just the participants. I like to promote an auction to your full database. Let a lot of people get involved in that auction that aren't necessarily coming out to play golf. So here's the key bonus, gang. How do you pay for this event? Um, as again, I mentioned, you can pay for the whole thing and it will be a return on investment. Trust me, if you do it right, first class, you will make the money long term. Or you can get golfers to pay the cost, as I mentioned. If you get a charity involved and say, a portion of this money is going to charity, golfers don't mind spending a little bit if they're getting the value. But here's the key: sponsors, high-end sponsors that'll kick in some money. Now, you can use sponsors for a lot of reasons, but sponsors can underwrite the event without you having to come out of pocket. Maybe you want to go to your sponsors or your suppliers, your vendors, and help them get exposure while you underwrite the event. That's a perfect example of a construction company I once put on an event, and they just brought in all the suppliers. It was a general contractor. They brought in the brick companies and the mortar companies and the fence companies and the carpet companies, because those were all customers or suppliers of theirs. They've spent millions of dollars with them, and so they all kicked in enough money to make this a high-end first class event. I also worked with an organization called Worldwide Missions, and they put on a first class event. It was packed, 120 players, and it was totally free, 100% free. The bonus for them is they saw a lot more donors, and these donors are not just one-time donors. There's some that are, but this was a long-term benefit for them. So because the donors kept giving and giving and giving, so once you get them in the family, in the relationship, they'll be with you for a long time. So you can produce this event at no cost or no money out of your pocket. So the next question that we have is, what is the right format to use? How do you choose the right tournament format? Now, many of you are puzzled because you think of a shotgun scramble, which most tournaments are, and that's fine. But let me just tell you, there's over 100 ways to produce a golf tournament, and you don't have to be stuck with a shotgun scramble. So you have some options, and I think it starts with choosing or deciding or finding out who's playing in your tournament. What type of golfers are playing in your tournament? Are they beginners? Are they advanced? Are they experts? Are they serious competitors? So just kind of a little formula. If you're doing a golf tournament with just a lot of beginners, a lot of people that don't play very often, then a scramble works just fine. If you've got a mix, if you got maybe some golfers that are serious and they want to play a little bit more serious golf, then you may want to think about a modified scramble or a shamble. But if you've got some serious golfers that really want to compete, then you want to think about a best ball format. Now, I've done other videos that go into detail on formats. We won't get into the details of those. We also have a book with a complete guide, over 400 formats, games, contests that's available to you, and also in an ebook. So we won't get into detail here, but it's important that you pick the right format. You also want to decide, do you want a team format or an individual tournament? format, and I like both. I like individual for the serious, and then maybe a team format just for fun. But you can do both with a best of all format also. So keep that in mind. It really boils down to your purpose. Is this competition or is it just more for fun? And when I say competition, I see a lot of corporate events that are an industry challenge. Maybe you're trying to figure out who the best general contractor is, or the best lawyer, or the best financial planner, because that's your niche, that's your group, that's the people that you want to entertain. Another format you may want to think about is a night golf tournament. I love night golf tournaments because it's typically 9 holes in the dark with glowing golf balls. This is absolute hoot, and I see a lot of corporate outings being done at night because then you can tie in a dinner, you can do a cocktail party, but night golf is great. I've seen it where it's actually 18 holes, where you do 9 holes in the light, and then you take a break, have something to eat, and then you do 9 holes in the dark. But there's a lot of ways to do that, and we've done another video on completely how to do a night golf tournament, all on our YouTube channel called the Golf Tournament Channel. You may want to consider a pro-am. This is obviously a lot of fun, can make a lot of money, and that's when you put a golf pro in each foursome. It takes a little bit more work, a little bit more effort, but you'll get a lot more value and a lot more attention, a lot more media coverage if you do a pro-am and or a celebrity am, putting a celebrity in your foursomes, which doesn't mean some Hollywood movie star, but there's a lot of local celebrities that you have right there in your community that you want to think about. So the format's very important. If you want more details, we've done a complete video on all the formats that are available out there. Then the next question, with along kind of with that format question, is games and contests. What kind of games and contests do you want to have with your event? I'm a firm believer in some games and contests, maybe not too many because it slows down play, but you definitely want some games and contests out there for several reasons. Again, boils down to what is your purpose? Is it just for fun? Is it making a lot of money, or is it just to entertain? So think about, what is your purpose? Because if you're just having a lot of fun, there's a lot of fun games out there you can have. If you want to make money, there's money making games. But if you've got a serious competition, you want to kind of limit all these mulligans and shotgun games and so forth. But when you're doing these games and contests, obviously there's a team game, so you can win first, second, third as a team. You can do a individual competition, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, individual. You could do different flights, flight A, B, and C for different caliber of golfers. You can do close to the pin. You can make it a gambling hole and make some money. You can do a long drive and you can do a beat the pro. You can do putting contests. There's a whole variety of games and contests out there. Beat the pro, the cannon gun, the drone drop. We've done another video on detailing all those games and contests. So if you need a little bit more detail on that, go to the Golf Tournament Channel. So very, very important to have some games and contests that makes it fun. It breaks up the day, gets the guys who aren't serious golfers to enjoy just a little bit more. So now let's talk about sponsors. So sponsors, how does that work? Why do you want sponsors for your event? Okay, a couple things to remember. First of all, why do you want sponsors? Well, one reason is it pays for your event. If you bring in enough sponsors, you have no out of pocket expenses, and if it's done right, you can do this event, you get all the glory, you get all the exposure, and sponsors underwrite it. Now, maybe you want to kick in some money, and some of that sponsor money can go to better gifts and prizes. You may want to just put some really high quality gifts and prizes. Sponsors can help underwrite that. Or you may just want to donate that money to charity. Say, because of the sponsors, we raised another 20 grand, and that's going to, Make-A-Wish or Cancer Society, whatever the case may be. But when you're wondering, who do we go after? I mentioned this before, but you want to look at those vendors and suppliers of your organization. See, sponsors simply want one thing, and that's more business. So they're going to support you to get your business in the future. They're going to support you because they want your customers as their customers. So they want that return on investor. So it's all about the golfers, So you've got to think about who's golfing in your event and what sponsors want to reach them. You've got to offer them return on investment, exposure, signage, networking. Those are the things that they really, really get excited about. If you want to know more about how to sell more sponsors, sponsors, then we do a full-blown hour on how to get sponsors. So let's go back to golfers here, and how do we get golfers? Who are these golfers? And it really boils down to who do you want to entertain? Who do you want to impress? Do you want your current customers, which you may have a ton, which is great? You may want to invite potential customers. You may want to invite donors, people who already give, potential donors, but these are all folks that you want to build relationships with and get to know, and hopefully work with them long term. You may want to do your staff and employees, which is fine too, because this builds a camaraderie within your group. It really gets everyone to know each other. It's a networking and relationship opportunity. But the big question is, do you want to charge these golfers? And that's debatable. So if you want to just say thank you, there are customers that spend some money with you, then you want to pay for it yourself or with these sponsors. If you want the golfers to pay, it better be worthwhile, better be big value, great golf course, great food, and some money needs to be going to charity. And then you're going to get them a little bit more apt to paying. But there's no reason you can't charge them if you give them a good reason to participate. All right, next big topic is gifts and prizes. Let me make it really clear that your event is going to be judged by the gifts and prizes that you give out. You want to create the wow factor. If you give out a bunch of crummy little donated calendars and pens and pencils, you're not going to get a whole lot of excitement. So you want to create that wow factor, give them some great stuff. I'm not talking about cheap stuff, nice shirts and hats and balls and gloves. So think about, getting some sponsors to help you underwrite those. You can get all of those gifts and prizes from our vendors, which are going to give it to you at wholesale or above cost. So you can go to our website and get a list of all those preferred vendors that we have. But you want to keep in mind when you're getting these prizes, a couple things you're going to need: a goodie bag, which is the first thing that they're going to get when they arrive at your tournament, and that's got to have the wow factor. You've got your winners, so you may have some teams: first, second, third, fourth, fifth team. So you need four of each, whether that's trophies or four golf bags or four hats or four shirts. Or keep in mind fours if you're doing team events. And then contest prizes. So you've got close to the pin, you've got the long drive. So you want to, give out boxes of balls and putters and drivers and so forth. So you want to give out cool stuff, because the cool stuff is not just creating the wow factor for you, but if it's done right, it's a marketing tool for you. Because if your logo is on these items, which I recommend all of them have your logo, then every time they use that item, they're going to be thinking about you, and they're going to be thinking about this event and what a great event it was. So now let's talk about marketing and promotion. How do you market and promote this event? Well, some of you may not need to do a whole lot of it because you've got the database, you've got the people, but there's still marketing involved. Why do you want to promote your event? Well, number one, it creates that image of your company and what you're doing, your organization. So if you promote a first-class event, that just shows that you're a first-class company, organization. So you want to produce a first-class event. You also want exposure. You even for those people that aren't participating, you want to get in front of all of your customers and potential customers. So it's important to communicate with them via blast email, on your website, through social media. And then you also want to give your current sponsors some visibility, some exposure. So include them in all the marketing, on your invitations, on your blast emails, and your social media. So very, very important to do some marketing and promotion with your event. It's just going to benefit you and your company. All right, signs and banners. A very, very important part of your corporate outing is signs and banners. Now, I want you to think a little bit outside the box here, because the typical event that you've seen is small little signage, small little, 3x5 signs. And I think it's important that we consider bigger signs. I really want to encourage you to use big, big signs, billboards and banners and flag banners, because it looks bigger. It makes your event look bigger. If you have just a bunch of plastic signs on wires, it just doesn't look that impressive. So if you have big banners, big billboards, big flex banners all over the place. It makes your event look big, makes you look big. It makes this event look really worthwhile playing in. So you want sponsor signs, you want directional signs, you want, your company signs, you want your sponsor signs. So very important to have some great signage to make your event look big. All right. Now the next question is, what about photos and videos? What do we do for photos and videos? Well, again, an additional marketing tool for you, ads promotion. So it's worthwhile getting some quality photos, some quality videos. You can utilize those for a whole bunch of stuff. One is, just sending out thank yous to your participants with their picture. They love seeing themselves, posting on their website, posting it on social media. One of the funnest things I love to do is take a bunch of action shots during the day and then turn around a slideshow or a video presentation during the award ceremony. It really pulls the team together, pulls everyone together. It's fun, they laugh, and it's a good team builder. So think about some action shots that you show during the award ceremony. And they're so important because, listen, if you put together these team photos, these individual photos, they remember you, and you hand them out. I mean, if you look at, I have a little foursome on my desk, and I think of that tournament every single day. I'm reminded how fun that was. And if you want your customers to be thinking about you every single day, you give them a quality photo that they're proud to put on a plaque or on their wall, something that they're going to be reminded of your tournament. So photos and videos are a great marketing tool for you and your company. So the next step is operations, the day of the event. It's very essential that you are well organized. You want a streamlined, flawless day, because the worst thing that us golfers hate is an unorganized event. People don't know the answers to any questions. They don't know where we're supposed to be. It is the worst experience for a golfer if you are unorganized. So I'm going to encourage you to put together an operations manual that has all the details, the schedule, the timing, where things are, what's served for dinner, what's in the raffle. Golfers want to know this stuff. And if you have an operations manual with all of your volunteers having one and memorizing it, it's going to go just much smoother. I like to do a little walkthrough a couple hours before the event with your team, making sure everyone knows where everything is. I also like to see a different golf shirt or a big button on your volunteers, so golfers know who they can go to ask the right questions. You want a shotgun start typically, which means everyone starts at the same time. So you want to get everyone organized a little bit more in advance, 15 to 20 minutes. I like to see all of the instructions given to the golfers in advance, but not in their carts. The worst thing is when you try to talk to a big crowd when they're in their golf carts, they can't hear you. So I like to pull everyone out of their golf carts, put them in an area, get some group photos, and then give the day's instructions on what's happening out there, where the contest holes are, what's going to be for dinner, and maybe a little plug for the auction and the raffle. So you want pace of play to be no more than 5 hours. We go crazy over 5 hours. 4 hours is a good number. And if you're organized, you can be able to do that. So this walkthrough and this operations manual are very, very important for the day of operations and all the detail. So once you're done with the event, then you've got the award ceremony. Very, very important, because this is like the icing on the cake. This is, if your goodie bag is your first impression of you, your award ceremony is their last impression of you. And you want them thinking positive of you and your organization. So you really want a great awards ceremony, not just hand out the trophies or the prizes and give them a hamburger and let them go, but turn it into something special. This is the opportunity to build relationships, to network. It's got to be fun. It's got to be upbeat. You want a great MC. Maybe you want some entertainment, some entertainers at the event to keep it upbeat. Everyone should get something. Ideally, the more winners you have, the more people remember you, and the more people would be coming back, year after year. So it's a great way to kind of promote your company without being too commercially. You don't want to get up there and give a great big commercial, because that'll turn off folks. But you definitely, um, want to, let them know it's you and what you do, and hopefully get them coming back to you in the future. I like to see a little promo for a charity. Everyone has extra cash. Everyone has a little extra money. So if you are tying in a charity during that award ceremony, you may want to talk about the charity, what they're doing, and how much money they may need. And people may just want to come out of pocket to give to that charity, a little extra. And then here's a bonus on how you can make some money. You've got some people that didn't play in the golf that may want to come to this award ceremony. So you may want to offer a special ticket just for the dinner and have spouses and people that didn't golf, members of your organization, come to the award ceremony and come to a big party. So that's a bonus revenue for you and a way to get extra people and just make it a lot more fun. So once you've wrapped up your event, now the very, very important, gang, is the follow-up. You can't just put on an event and just hopefully they remember you. Follow-up is essential for the future. So you've got to have a great follow-up program. You've got to send out some thank yous. You've got to send out some photographs with your company logo on it. You've got to do the social media wrap-up. You've got to thank the sponsors and give them some recognition. But I want you to think about consistency, staying in touch with these sponsors and these golfers throughout the year. Maybe drop them a note once a month, because if you're going to do this event again, you definitely want them thinking about you, and you want them reminded about what a great event it is. So touch base, not just talk about golf, but talk about other things, what you're doing with your company, what you're doing with your organization, but stay in touch monthly and it'll pay off big dividends. So, gang, before I wrap up, let me just tell you real quick, if you're not knowing about who we are and what we do, the GTA has been around for over 35 years. We've literally trained over 250,000 tournament planners around the world, and we offer one simple thing: just knowledge, just information on how to produce better golf tournaments. Everything that we do is pretty much for free. These webinars are free, our YouTube channel's free, our newsletters, our articles. We do have some ebooks and some hard copy books that have some minimal cost, $10 to $20. But most importantly is that you can tune into us anytime for additional information. You can ask us any question anytime. We're here to help you and serve you. But also, if you want to take your event planning a little bit more serious, you want to be recognized as being an expert in doing golf tournaments, we have a certification program, and it's a program that's a little bit more in depth than this. You're going to learn a lot more details on all the topics that we discussed. You're going to take a test to make sure you absorb the information. It's about 100 questions, and then you're going to be a certified planner, a GTA certified planner, which gives you credibility, gives you exposure, gives you confidence, gives you knowledge. It gives you the ability to handle the big events. So we'd love to work with you on that if that's a need for you, and we'll promote you when you do that. So let us know if you're interested in that. So let me just wrap up by saying this, gang. First of all, I applaud you for putting on a golf tournament. It's obviously our passion, and we get excited about it. But you really want to do this thing first class. If you want to entertain customers, you want to reach new potential customers, you want to just say thank you to customers and or donors, you want to say thank you to your staff, put on a first class event, get a first class, high quality facility, a golf course, give out great first class gifts and prizes. You give out great food, not another burnt hot dog and a drink ticket, and then produce a first class event. Make them feel loved and welcomed, and then stay in touch with them throughout the year. Because if you do this kind of stuff, then I guarantee you're going to have customers for a long time. And you can always reach out to us. We're here to serve you and help you with your golf tournament in any way, shape, or form. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to working with you in the future. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Again, my name is Phil Amordino with the GTAA, and we'll send you all of our contact information. So have a great week and good luck with your tournament. Let us know if we can help. Thanks for everything.